Hello and welcome to episode 26 and the weekend edition of Run to Your Challenges. The weekend edition focuses on common leadership challenges that normally occur away from work and offers encouraging tips to help you and your team run to your challenges. This is your host, Paul Grau Jr. from Current Leadership Coaching, and today's challenge is how are your people doing? And/or what are your people doing? Now, let me first say that since I've transitioned out of the Air Force, I've had a lot of people tell me that leaders should not get involved in their people's personal lives. Well, you know what? I say screw that. Leadership is all about people, and it's all about getting to know your people. Your people all have personal lives. Now, specifically, developing a relationship with your people is what I'm talking about here, a professional relationship. Let's face it, on any given week, you actually spend more time with the people at work than you do with your friends and family at home, at least Monday through Friday, or whatever days you work. And they almost become like family. So I say get in their business and get to know what they're doing in their off-duty time. Now, I'm not saying to become some kind of weirdo stalker. You can have a casual conversation with them throughout the week to get to know what they like to do when they're not working. Get to know their hobbies. Find out if they're married. Find out if they have kids. I'm not talking about really getting personal and what they're doing, besides that, but general things. Get to know about your people. Just being a leader is all about taking interest in your people. Get to know them. Now, if you disagree with this, just humor me for a minute or two. Consider this. How can you really take care of people and lead your people if you don't even know them? If you are saying that it's not your job to take care of them, let me put it a different way. Who do you follow? Will you follow just anybody who is a leader, or are you more prone to follow somebody who you personally know and trust? Throughout my 26-year Air Force career, I had to follow some leaders that were just not such great leaders. However, I didn't have a lot of respect for them. I respected their position and their rank, and I had to do what they said to do, but I didn't have a lot of respect for them as an individual, for them as an actual leader. On the other hand, I had tremendous respect for leaders who actually took the time to get to know me personally and actually asked me about my wife and my kids, who took an interest in what I was doing on the weekends and in the evenings. I would go through brick walls for those leaders because they truly cared about me. Your people are the same way. You lead them at work, but you know what? You can easily take an interest in their lives outside of work and build a strong professional relationship with them. Professional is the key here. Build the kind of professional relationship that has a foundation of trust. Think about it this way. If your team members are doing something on a weekend that you have done in the past and you find out about it in a casual conversation, you can offer some tips to them. How cool is that? You gain some credibility with them. Additionally, you can learn from each other. What if they mention they're doing something that you had a terrible experience with, or vice versa? What if you can offer up some safety tips to them and to their family and friends? Wouldn't you want them to be safe and actually return to work on Monday? I mean, this is a no-brainer. I once had a supervisor leader who was having difficulties with one of his team members tell me that he didn't know anything about this team member. After talking to this leader for several minutes, I was under the impression that he had only been leading this person for, a couple weeks or so. Come to find out, he had been leading this quote-unquote difficult team member for nearly 3 years. Can you imagine that? 3 years, and this leader had no idea if his employee was married, had kids. He had no idea what kind of hobbies he did. He had no idea what he did on the weekends or in the evenings. This leader had no idea if his team member had any goals or what his aspirations were or anything. Well, I stepped back and I told this leader, I wouldn't want to work for you either. Now, that didn't go over too well, and it kind of ticked off the leader. Imagine that. The leader was ticked off that I was surprised he didn't know anything about his quote-unquote difficult team member. You know what, though? It wasn't absolutely this supervisor leader's fault. The system as a whole let him down. The system basically told him that he shouldn't get too personal. Sometimes basic human common sense needs to kick in and take over. It only makes sense that if you get along with people you work with, you'll be happier at work. Come on, this is not rocket science, right? It's leadership. Okay, I guess I've rambled long enough on this topic, and sorry if I went over a little bit longer. The point I'm trying to make here is that it's perfectly okay to get to know your people. Take a genuine interest in them and what they're doing on the weekend and the evenings. Develop a professional relationship. Heck, you might even want to have a team barbecue some weekend where everybody brings their families. I know in the Air Force, we had tons of family barbecues. And this happened especially when I was stationed overseas. And you know what? They were the closest teams I've ever worked for. Go figure, right? So that's a wrap for today. Go and have a great weekend and share your great moments with your people on Monday morning. As always, please share this briefing with friends and coworkers and every leader that you know. Also, please visit my website at runtoyourchallenges.com. Thank you. And until next time, run to your challenges.